Hello class, we're going to discuss this week about chapter 2, the review of related literature. So good morning everyone. Today we embark on a crucial step in our research journey, understanding and conducting a thorough review of related literature. Think of it as building a solid foundation for your own research. This chapter, the review of related literature, is your guide to navigating the vast sea of existing knowledge. It will help us determine if our topic is researchable, how to effectively search for information, and how to position our own work within the broader academic conversation. Let's begin by understanding why this step is so vital. So why do we dedicate so much time to reviewing what others have already discovered? Primarily, it's about building upon a foundation. We need to know if our chosen topic has already been thoroughly explored. If it has, how can our research contribute something new? This review helps us identify gaps in knowledge, areas that need further investigation, or perhaps even conflicting findings that require resolution. It's like being a detective piecing together clues from previous studies to understand the bigger picture and identify where our own investigation can make a unique contribution. It also positions our work within the larger academic conversation, showing that we are aware of the ongoing dialogue in our chosen field. Before we diving into existing literature, we must first solidify our research topic. This is the central subject or theme of our proposal study. It's more than just an interest, it's something that can and should be researched. To help define it, drafting a working title is a powerful tool. Think of it as a signpost, a tangible idea you can keep returning to. We also need to critically assess if the topic is practical, meaning we have the resources and access to study it, and if it's useful, meaning it adds something valuable to the academic community or to practice. Don't hesitate to bounce your ideas off your peers, mentors, or professors for valuable feedback. Let's talk about titles. A good title is like a compelling advertisement for your research. It should be brief, informative, and enticing. Think about stripping away unnecessary words like a study of or an investigation into. Aim for conciseness, perhaps no more than 12 words. Consider using a double title where the first part states the methodology, the second part reveal the core focus. The key is to clearly signal the topic of your study. Remember, your working title can evolve as your research progresses. Now let's delve into the literature itself. At its core, a literature review is the process of systematically finding, reading, and summarizing the research and scholarly work related to your topic. It's about immersing yourself in what has already been written. This process is crucial for several reasons. It helps you refine your research question, understand the existing methodologies, identify key scholars in the field, and most importantly, establish the significance and necessity of your own study. Conducting a literature review is a systematic process. It's not just random searching. First, you need to identify keywords related to your topic. These will be your search items. Then you'll need to utilize academic databases. For example, we have ERIC for education, PsycInfo for psychology, and Google Scholar for a broader search. Aim to gather a good number of relevant studies, perhaps around 50 initially. As you find them, skim them to identify the most pertinent ones. A literature map can be incredibly helpful here. a visual representation of how studies relate to each other and where your research fits in. Finally, start drafting summaries, organize your findings thematically, and conclude by pointing out how your study addresses a gap in the existing literature. Accessing information is now easier than ever. Thanks to digital databases, your university library subscribes to numerous valuable resources. Familiarize yourself with both free databases like ERIC and Google Scholar and those available through the library such as ProQuest and PsycInfo. While searching, don't just use terms. Use specific keywords and understand how databases use descriptors or the thesauri to categorize information. This targeted approach will yield more relevant results and save you time. When you are faced with a mountain of literature, it's essential to prioritize. Begin with broad overviews like encyclopedias or review articles to get a general understanding. Then delve into peer-reviewed journal articles. As there are typically the most rigorously vetted, don't overlook relevant books, and for the very latest research, check out conference papers. While dissertations can be helpful, remember that their quality can vary. Be cautious with web sources. Always assess their credibility. Think of this as a strategic approach to gather the most valuable information efficiently. A literature map is a powerful visual tool that helps you organize your findings. It's essentially a diagram that shows the landscape of research on your topic. You can structure it hierarchically, like a family tree or as a flowchart. The goal is to map out the major themes, key studies, and then clearly indicate where your own research fits in, how it builds upon, extends, or even challenges existing work. This visual aid is invaluable for understanding the field and for presenting your rationale to others. When you're reviewing many studies, being able to summarize them efficiently is crucial. This is where abstracting comes in. An abstract is a concise summary of a research study, typically a short paragraph that highlights the most important information for your literature review. You'll be creating the summaries, focus on extracting the research problem, the study's purpose, key details about the participants and methodology, and the most significant findings. This allows readers to quickly grasp the essence of each study you include. Let's look at an example of an abstract for a qualitative study. Notice how it concisely presents the study's purpose, like testing the Biglan model, the participants, 80 department chairpersons, and the key findings, differences in professional development needs across academic areas. This gives you a clear snapshot of the research without needing to read the entire article at this stage. Here's an example of abstracting: a study that's not strictly empirical but proposes a typology. It highlights the core area, the environmental analysis, identifies a gap, the lack of comprehensive model, and points to the study's contribution, a developed typology. This demonstrates how you can abstract different types of scholarly work. Consistency is key in academic writing, and style manuals are your guide to achieving it. Whether you're following APA, Chicago, or another style, ensure you use it consistently for in-text citations, reference lists, headings, and even how you present tables and figures. This not only makes you look Your work look professional, but also makes it easier for the readers to follow and understand. Precision in language is paramount in research. When terms might be ambiguous or have specific technical meanings, it's essential to define them. This often happens in a dedicated definition of term section. Aim to use established definitions from the literature whenever possible, and if you need to create your own operational definition, make sure it's clear and specific. This prevents misinterpretation and ensures everyone is on the same page. This approach to defining terms can differ between research approaches. In quantitative studies, where variables are precisely measured, clear, upfront definitions are crucial. For qualitative research, which is more emergent, definitions might evolve as you gather and analyze data. In mixed methods, your approach to definitions will often depend on whether the qualitative or quantitative aspect takes precedence or how you sequence your data collection. For quantitative research, a common structure for your literature review involves generalizing it around your key variables. You'll typically have an introduction, followed by sections dedicated to the existing research on your independent variables. Then your dependent variables, and finally, studies that explore the relationship between them. Conclude this section by summarizing the main findings and reiterating the gap your study aims to fill. In qualitative research, the literature review often plays a different role. While it's important for context, it's often used more inductively. You might introduce it briefly in the introduction to frame the problem, dedicate a separate section, or even use it at the end to compare your findings with existing theories. The key is not to let the literature predetermine your participants' views, but rather to use it to contextualize and interpret your findings. In mixed methods research, how you approach the literature review is influenced by your chosen design. If your study is sequential, you might address the literature relevant to each phase separately. If you're collecting both types of data concurrently, you might present literature that supports both your quantitative and qualitative inquiries, or perhaps emphasize the literature that aligns with the primary focus of your study. To summarize our discussion, the literature review first clearly define your topic and ensure it's researchable. Then employ a systematic approach to searching, prioritizing credible sources like peer-reviewed journals. Visualizing the landscape of research with a literature map is highly recommended. Be adept at summarizing studies through abstracts and meticulously define your terms. Finally, structure your research logically, whether it's for quantitative, qualitative, or mixed method study, ensuring it clearly articulates the need and significance of your research. Now let's put this knowledge into practice. For your assignment, I want you to start by creating a literature map for your own research topic. Then begin organizing a section of your literature review, either for a quantitative or a qualitative approach. Spend some time practicing your database search skills and try abstracting a couple of articles you find. This hands-on work will solidify your understanding of this vital research skill.